Right.
Welcome to Onourshelf. Let's see what our follow me has for us today. Okay, don't need this. But we have the Kocaso Nova 1 mobile phone tablet PC. Okay, so we have the Kocaso Nova 1 6-inch mobile phone. Here's the box that it comes in. Let's go ahead and get it out of the box. So we'll start off by sliding this cover box off right here. This top box slides right off as well. So first we have an information guide, the phone itself, but we'll set that to the side for now. Stylus, frequently asked questions guides, warranty card, and a user manual. A screen protector in a leather case with the Kocaso name on the bottom right hand corner. A black carry-in pouch with the Kocaso name on it as well. White earphones with a mic. Micro USB cable. OTG USB cable. And the last thing is an AC wall adapter. Now back to the actual phone itself. Let's go ahead and pull this little screen film off. And here it is, the Kocaso Nova 1 in white. So let's get started. So starting on the left hand side, we have our volume up and down button. It's just one button. Below that we have our sleep wake button or power button. On the bottom, clean surface, no inputs. Right hand side, clean surface as well, no buttons. On top we have our 3.5mm headphone jack, and across from that we have our micro USB input. On the front and bottom of the phone we have 3 touch sensitive buttons. Starting from the right we have our back button, in the middle we have our home button, and to the left we have our multitask button. Also on the bottom right hand corner we have our mic for speaking. Up top we have a 2-megapixel front facing camera, ear speaker, proximity and ambient light sensor. On the back up top we have a 5-megapixel camera and a flash right next to it. And on the bottom we have our cutout for our speaker. Now this back cover along with the rest of the phone is plastic and it is removable so that you can get to your battery. Now as you can see right here and here we have dual SIM card slots, and in the middle we have a micro SD card slot. So overall it's a good designed phone with a pretty familiar layout. It kind of reminds me of a Samsung Galaxy S4 with the look and feel. So if you've held one of those type of phones, those plasticky type phones, just imagine a much bigger version of that, and that's exactly pretty much what this feels like. So the question is now, how does it perform? So let's talk about the hardware and software. So it's running Android 4.4.2 KitKat combined with the hardware of a quad-core 1.2 GHz CPU and 1 gig of DDR3 RAM. While running some benchmarking tests, we got an Antutu benchmarking score of 16,524 and a Geekbench 3 single-core score of 337 and multi-core score of 1,035. So on paper, that's not really impressive in 2014, but while performing real-world tests, it did pretty well. Most games we played, we really didn't experience any frame rate or lag issues at all. So most games were just as fun to play on this device as they are on some of the high-end spec phones. Now, where you might tend to notice some lag at from time to time is when launching apps and when closing apps, especially if you have multiple apps open at once. But for the most part, KitKat runs fine with this hardware. Whether you're multitasking, playing games, or moving widgets around, it's not a knock you off your feet, super fast, very fluent experience like some of the higher end, very higher priced phones, but it is a very satisfying experience, which is what you at least need when buying any type of tablet or mobile phone. So as far as real world performance goes, this phone's pretty good. Now as far as the screen goes, it's rocking a 6-inch IPS screen with a pixel resolution of 960 by 540. And I must say at 6 inches it's pretty good for playing games, watching movies, browsing through photos, or reading text. Now it doesn't have the most vibrant colors or the sharpest text, but at 6 inches you feel a little bit more immersed into the viewing experience, so some of those things are a little bit forgivable. And the sound of the speaker is pretty good, we just wish it could be a little bit louder. Also, when outside in very well lit situations, this screen isn't the best at keeping away reflections, as you can see right here. And that can be pretty annoying, but right here in this situation, we're pretty much in direct sunlight, so this won't happen a lot, but when it does, it's annoying. Now, as far as the camera goes, it's a decent 5 megapixel rear facing camera. It takes decent pictures, especially in daylight or well lit situations. At nighttime, not so good. And as far as the video quality goes, there is a lot of room for improvement for video quality. So here are some sample pictures and videos taken.
I'm not gonna watch that.
As far as the battery life goes, it has a lithium-ion 2600 milliamp battery. And if you're a fairly heavy to average user, this battery is going to get you through about half a day on a full charge. And there are things you can do to maximize battery life to make it last a little bit longer. For example, keep brightness to a minimum, keep background apps from running, and try to keep as few apps open at once as possible. But on average, that's about what I experienced. And as far as charge times go, 1 hour will take you 75% of the way, and 2 hours will get you a full charge. Now, as far as call quality goes, it was pretty good. No one had any problems hearing me, and I didn't have any problems hearing anyone else. And I had a pretty good signal pretty much everywhere I went, but for you, that's gonna pretty much depend on where you're at and what cell carrier you have. So in conclusion, it's a pretty big phone. In fact, here it is compared to the iPhone 6 Plus. However, this phone, keep in mind, does have a bigger screen at 6 inches compared to the iPhone 6 Plus's 5.5 inch screen. So after having this phone for a few weeks, there are only 3 things that kind of bother me from time to time. One is the camera in terms of recording video. It takes decent pictures, but video quality was just not good enough for my use. 2, battery life. I wish it was just a little bit better. It's almost enough to get you through a full day, but not quite. And the last thing is reflections on the screen. Again, this is only really a problem in very bright areas, but it is a problem. Now, as far as things I like about this phone, there's a lot more likes about this phone than dislikes. For example, or 1, the touchscreen is very responsive. 2, the memory is expandable up to 32 gigabytes via a micro SD card. 3, the screen is 6 inches, making it great for watching videos or browsing the web. And 4, wait for it, this phone is going to retail for under $200 without a contract. And that's quite a bargain for a phone this size that doesn't compromise on a lot. So that's been my review of the Kocaso Nova 1. Take care, I'll see you guys in our next video, and thanks for watching.